I know. No, I haven't been requesting this, but I want to do this. We're gonna be looking at Reddit r/no sleep, and what I want to do is go through here and read r/no sleep, and I just want to read this. So, buck up tight. Go get some popcorn. Pause this video. Go get some popcorn. Go get some snacks. Go get whatever you need. And I'll wait. Good. You got it? Okay. We're going to start at the very top. Hello? Hold on. Here we go. May 2020 winners. Howdy, folks. Wait, hold on. This ain't a one. This ain't. Nope. 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 These aren't things. So, download both of these. Part 1. Ooh. Oh, too much. All right. Part 1. An inbred family lives up the road. I'm sure y'all are familiar with the stereotype that Peninsula is home to a bunch of elusive inbred mountain people. Mostly Africans found this offensive, and for some reason, most of us are not inbred. Hold on, let me find a good one. Actually, let me find a good one. I want to find a good one here because I don't know. My wife cat knows there's something wrong. All right, we'll read this one. You gotta usually find some stuff, and hopefully it turns out great. But we're going to be reading r/no sleep. Then we're going to be going over and reading r/entitled parents, which is going to be hilarious. Until a few weeks ago, I lived near a isolated life with my wife and her cat. I could tell. Ugh, I call it our cat because while it was occasionally affectionate towards me, to the of them were nigh especially in the mornings when Tessa would have her coffee. The cat would be there on her lap. Throughout the day, wherever you find Tessa, you would inevitably find Mittens. At night, and that night, the cat would curl up at the foot of the bed, right between my wife's feet. In fact, the only time Mittens showed me, you know what? Let's go in full mode. Go in full mode here. I don't care about that. Which way? Let's go out of this. See why. Why? Oh no. See why my thing was fucking suspended. Okay then. Well, anyways, back to this. Only genuine affection basement. Hold on. In fact, The only time men showed me any genuine affection is when I what was when I would into the basement, would live in an old house in a small town in Minnesota. The house was built in 1904, and it called suffers for several oddities. Chief, which is electricity, the previous owners had apparently rewired the house, but even so, light bulbs still burned out at an alarming rate. Even LED bulbs would never lasted more than a couple months in that house. But in the basement, those months turned to days, to weeks, or even days. Tessa disliked the basement from day one. Refused to step foot down there unless I was with her. That made doing the laundry my job. Since we were used to the basement only for storage and laundry, I simply stopped, replacing most of the bulbs after a while. We had boarded up the windows into the basement because of the harsh winters in the area. This made it a dark, dreary place that I didn't much care for either. It always felt like too cold down there. Even at the height of summer, the air always felt stale. Even so, and every so often, I would suddenly feel an overwhelming need just to get the hell out of there. Clean clothes be damned. Getting back to the story, Minge would always follow me when I went down into the basement. She would never come in the basement herself, but would sit at the steps and meow at me through the door. And until I was done with the laundry, came back out for a few moments onto the stairs. She was the most affectionate cat in the world, chirping at me and rubbing her face against my hand like it had gone missing for a week. And then she would turn and run back up the stairs to find Tessa. Then, about 3 weeks ago, as I was doing a load towels, Mitten started howling on the other side of the door. She sounded seriously frightened, and she started scratching at the door. I called out to her, let her know I was okay, when the lone light bulb above the washing machine burned out, plunging me into total darkness. It was no more than 4 steps from the washing machine to the basement door, but I immediately panicked and slammed my shin into a trunk that sat up against the wall. As I lunged to the exit, the pain would have blinded me if it wasn't already blinded at the moment, and if I could feel blood trickling down my leg. Then I heard it. A loud, growling noise came from somewhere further in the basement. I turned to face that noise. I saw 2 glowing green eyes staring at me from the darkness. I don't know how to convey a feeling of dread I felt that moment. All I knew that I had to get out. That cat was going absolutely berserk on the other side of the door, clawing the wood, yowling her little head off. When I finally found the doorknob and opened it, she stopped suddenly. Her eyes widened and locked into mine. We stared at each other for several seconds, and then she tore up the stairs, fast she can, and locked onto mine. We started at each other for several. Yeah, okay. Then she tore up the stairs as fast as she could go, leaving me behind. I limped up the stairs, shutting the basement door behind me. The feeling of dread left me immediately. The light of the sun came through the door at the top of the stairs. There was nothing but their door. There was nothing down there watching me. All the same, I didn't go back into the basement. I was feeling a little ashamed of myself for panicking in the dark. I always had a vivid imagination, and I went by itself up, sometimes over nothing. When I got back upstairs into my living room, Mittens was sitting on Tessa's lap. She was instead of hiding under the end table, staring up at me with wide, frightened eyes. Tessa was looking down at the cat and turned to me and asked, what was that all about? Not sure, I replied. She just started going nuts when I was in the basement. She ran upstairs when I came out. Tessa reached down and petted Mittens, who refused to take her eyes off me. I leaned over and took a step towards her, hopping, hoping, yeah, hopping, no, hoping, sorry, to pet her myself. She hissed at me and ran behind the couch. I felt shaken, but suddenly changed my behavior and just stood there until Tessa pointed out, so concerned, that I was bleeding through my jeans where where I hit my shin. I felt instantly cold and decided to take a shower. My leg was badly bruised, but the wound wasn't that bad. I merely scraped it, a good chunk of my skin off my leg. Hardly the worst damage I suffered in my life. I put a bandage over and went on with my day. I'm not sure if the bloody scrape had anything to do with the starting happening, do with what started happening next. The image of those two eyes came back to me. I felt haunted. That night, Mittens did not sleep on the bed with us. I woke once during the night to find her sitting in the doorway, her huge eyes reflecting green in darkness. I patted the bed every but she stayed where she was. She was sitting there when I woke up the next morning, as if she'd been maintaining a vigil the entire night. When Tessa and I got up, things briefly seemed to return to normal. Mint climbed up to my lap while she had her coffee. I returned to the basement with a fresh light bulb, determined to get to the towels in the dryer. Sorry, and get on with my day. The cat did not follow me downstairs this time. Curiously, that hurt my feelings. I felt a pang of resentment of the little creature I recall trading myself for almost immediately. Why I was suddenly getting butt hurt because of my cat was afraid of me. I shook it off and finished the load of laundry under the warm glow of the new light bulb. I no longer felt the dread I had the day before. In fact, the basement felt peaceful. As the days passed, it became clear that whatever was going on with Mittens was only getting worse, not better. She stayed glued to Tessa, but whenever I was in the room, her eyes never left me. She hissed if I approached her and would hide if I came too close. My own feelings toward the cat continued to sour as well. I found myself increasingly annoyed by her consent, watchful princess, and the low growl I would hear sometimes, emanating from where from her when Tessa was not in the room. I found myself retreating to the basement, not wanting around the cat any more than necessary. Whenever it was happening was taking a toll on Tessa as well. She could not figure why Mittens was afraid of me, and actually confronted me one night, asking me point blank if I kicked her or something. I remember feeling livid. That damaged cat was turning my life against me. I asserted her. I've done nothing to that animal. But while she believed me, while she said she believed me, I could still see the doubt in her eyes. That night, I saw the most vivid, realistic nightmare of my life. In that dream, I chased Minnie throughout the house and slowly squeezed the life out of her. When I caught her, I woke up crying because Minnie was forever Tessa's cat. I still loved her at least. I thought I did. As I wiped a tear from my eyes, I saw her sitting there in the doorway, staring at me in silent accusation. She ran before my foot touched the floor as she watching my dream. 2 weeks ago, and only gotten worse since then. The fucking cat is always watching me and never leaves me alone. And my wife, Tessa, has noticed the growling tension, and she blames me. Why would she? Why shouldn't she? I only want to kill her damn cat. I have the same dream numerous times, and I've started friends about about it when I'm awake too. It's horrible, and when I want the visions to go away, but they won't. The basement feels colder than ever, but I keep finding excuses to go back down there. I wait, sometimes even shutting off the light for those eyes to reaper, and that feeling of dread to wash over me. But it hasn't. And Mims has not come back down the stairs. She never calls for me anymore. Her litter boxes are in the same room with the stairs that go to the basement. She has taken the voiding the entire room, instead shitting on the living room floor. I don't know what's wrong with her, but cleaning up after infuriates me. I haven't noticed other changes as well. I've grown stronger. I can't. I can bend nails with my fingers. I got the cleaver caught in the cutting board last week. Again, daydreaming about the cat. My senses seem to be heightened too. So I went back to the basement yesterday, and I could almost perfectly, in the dark, I could see almost perfectly in the dark. I just sat there for hours staring at the spiders as they skittered across the floor and the walls. They couldn't hide from me. Nothing could hide from me now. I caught a glimpse of myself in the mirror yesterday as I was getting ready for bed. I just turned on off the bedroom light, and I caught the reflection of my eyes in the mirror. Two round green orbs reflecting what light there was. And I felt it again. That panicky sweat, that feeling that something was staring at me from the darkness, waiting to pounce. Only now the darkness is inside of me. Last night, I dreamed that I hurt Tessa the same way. I keep imagining hurting the cat. Something's wrong with me, and I don't know what it is. I know if I stay here, I will hurt them both. So don't deserve that. The visions of killing Tessa have started creeping into my mind, waking mine as well. So I'm leaving. I don't know where I'm going. Just had to get far from here. Dude, holy shit. Damn. This is all wrote by You Chasing Halloween. That was good. Alright, let's go to the next one. Let's see what we can find next. Holy crap. That was good. My cat knows there's something wrong. Oh, that's child abuse. don't agree with them. Okay. I think Mini Lad did this before. I am a park ranger. I regret my community outreach program. You know what? Let's go. Let's go to something brighter. I'm just kidding. No, we're not. We're going on. We're pushing on. You know you got to do it. All right. Actually, hold on. Profile. I gotta see something good. Account has been suspended. Great avatar. If I had to create a new user settings, if I had to create a new account, I will. But I will. I'll create a new account. Create Google. Continue with Google. Let's make with this one. Oh, dang. R/notes. Finish. Well, let's go to r/no sleep. Like I said, most of this is exactly. Now this one doesn't say about the. No, I'm gonna keep this dark mode. Okay, let's go back to r/no sleep because we want to read more of the no sleeps. Yeah, 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 yeah. Just kidding with you. I am a park ranger, and I regret my community outreach program. So, do this, and give us that. All right. I'm a park ranger, and I regret my. So, this is made by Esonomia underscore storyteller. This was 10 hours ago. This just recently posted, too. I began working as a park ranger because I truly love the outdoors. You know, park rangers with um what was the one video that Jackson guy did that was a park ranger? But you may know it. You may know it though. You may know it. Uh, I'm just gonna turn on my thing to see if I'm just gonna do that and do that. So now we got that. All right. I was again working in a ranger because I truly love the outdoors. Many of the fondest memories growing up were made in the woods. Exploring the miles of the trails in my backyard, dragging along whatever friend I could convince to join me. I was never tired of nature, constantly amazed by wildlife, foliage, and the changes in seasons. I grew up to know the woods and parks around me like the back of my hand, and only logical. Hold on. Sorry. You always got to drink something before get back to ship. All right. And I grew to know the woods and parks around me like the back of my hand. And only logical progression for me as become an adult was start to working for them. My goal was to share my passion with my community. I was thinking this upbeat and engaged attitude coming from a young woman was refreshing and eventually was compared to the suffering old men who were occupying the other ranger positions. I moved up in the ranks quickly, gained a good reputation and report. With the community, I worked hard to make our parks accessible and interesting, which leads me to the project in question. I decided during the lockdowns that I would be fun to set up some trail cams on the less popular paths at a local state park. These were the trails only by more experienced climbers, woodsmen, navigators. They were placed your average family would go, but offered some of the most amazing wildlife and views thanks to the remote location. In effort to encourage people to use to donate to the parks, I proposed my idea to share nature's beauty with the public. My boss was hesitant at first, and not wanting to disrupt the natural landscape with cameras, but when I showed him how very small they were and how they almost entirely camouflaged in the trees, he tried his too. We decided to have the cams 24 hours with solar car charging and remote connection. It would allow people trapped inside their homes to feel some kind of connection to the outdoors. And I would feel excited. My idea brought to life. We shared the live feed links on our social media pages of in May of 2020. At first, we only had a few viewers. I would prefer more, but I could share the beauty with even just one person. It was worth it. As the summer wore on, our cameras began picking up some interesting wildlife. We caught a mama bear and her cubs feasting on one cam a couple of times. And our feeds pick up views as our dedicated fans shared them with others. There was even a period of time where we had over 1,000 viewers at once, all watching eagles' chicks hatch in the nest we found. Of course, we kept cameras a safe distance away so it wouldn't obstruct them, but allowing the viewers to get a look at nature no one would normally be able to see. When schools opened back up, we had a few teachers even all the way across the county showing the feeds to their class. I received a praise at donations flowed into the parks department from locals and foreigners alike. All the thrilled documents of removed nature were getting. My boss was thrilled. So was I. Was. One night, we caught something strange on our mountainside camp. The camera was attached to a ledge overlooking a rock outcropping in the fields forest beyond. A few months prior, this was where I had watched a mother eagle build her nest. But now there wasn't much to see in terms of wildlife. It did provide a special view of sunrises over the trees, though. And many people tuned in at first. We didn't notice anything not odd, but one person in chat asked, "Does anybody else see the trees moving?" Of course, the replies mentioned the wind, tricks of the eye, and light, but they went on further describing it. No, no, like the trees in the right corner, they're moving, like really moving. I looked, Zooming the screen and the spot that the user pointed out. To confusion, the trees were moving. There were two large ones, swaying dramatically back and forth despite everything else nearby remaining stationary. I jumped in the chat as admin, acknowledged the comment. This movement unnerved me, as it acted as it was like I'd never seen before. I tried to hide this stuff, explaining it could be a large. What the fuck am I? Large bear climbing the branches or scratching themselves on the trunks. Within a few minutes, the wait stopped. But the strange motion played over and over in my head that night. I couldn't figure out what was just causing those trees and only those trees to move. The next morning, I reported to work for my 6 a.m. shift and logged into the trail cams and looked normal. All looked normal. I found myself questioning if I actually seen anything large or strange last night, or if it had been just power suggestion, the commenter. Then I saw it again. This time it was much closer, as a few of the visible treetops and the base of the outcropping began to bend back and forth, swaying as if it was a snap at any moment. I didn't know what to expect, but I sat glued to my cam while I waited for something to emerge from the woods. I saw a large, dark, clawed appendage grasp onto the bottom of the ledge. Then another, they slammed down with such force the rocks beneath them cracked and split as the creature pulled itself onto the outcropping and closer to the camera. I felt as though it were right in front of it, unable to move. And in all my life, I'd never seen anything like it. Not even legends or drawings. I had two bloodshot eyes, pupils slit like cats, and humans smile with their large fangs that glistened all the way down its chin. Maybe it was 12 feet tall. But I couldn't tell for sure. I was crawling on all fours, slinking towards the camera, and its gaze never faltered. Hold on. So I could see me better. Suddenly, like, as its gaze never faltered as it stared directly at the lens, even 100 feet away from the well-hidden camera. Suddenly, it leaped onto its back legs and sprinted toward the hidden lens. I screamed, unable to separate myself from the screen, as the unknown beast charged directly towards me. It ripped the camera right off the screen, screeching as it did so. Before throwing it to the ground, the camera clattered around. The feed went to black and cut out. I looked at the feed and thankfully saw no one but myself had been watching. I didn't know how to, or even could, if I could, explain what just happened. I wasn't sure to, and try to forget about the rest of the day. Maybe I'd fallen asleep at my desk and imagined it, or I would food poisoning that caused to hallucinate. At this post, I accept any explanation other than there was no one, and I mean no one, that evening, other than the trail cam was destroyed, mercilessly going offline. While thankfully no one was watching since then, retrieved reports from hikers of trees moving unnaturally, while they were on trails, and all our trail camps were gone offline. No one had been injured or even gone missing. So, no one has bothered to investigate it. Most rangers say it's nothing to worry about. I, on the other hand, am full of fear. I see the trees swaying on my drives home from work and have refused every field assignment I've been refused to do, requested to do. I used to jump at the glance or the chance to get out of my office. I haven't even attempted to explain why to anyone because I want people to go looking for this creature. Because I don't want people to go looking for this creature. I think I knew we were watching it, and it didn't want to be seen. I'm the last thing standing in its way, remaining undiscovered, and it's most definitely intelligent enough to put a stop to that. The moving trees are getting closer, and it's only a matter of time before my feed goes dark too. Man, that was good. If y'all think so, leave a comment, leave a like on this video, and subscribe. And I want y'all to tell me how it was. If it was good, tell me if it was good. But if not, that's your separation. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed, and that was r/no sleep. And I hope y'all enjoyed. Like I said, I'll say nothing. I hope y'all enjoyed, and for the rest of the day, I hope you get no sleep. Just kidding. I hope you get wonderful sleep because of this. Well, that's it. Till tomorrow. Peace.